Andy, it's finished 1-0 there, another victory, another clean sheet, but I can sense your frustrations at the end of the game there. Just what's not quite sat right with you there at the end of the game?
Well, I think it's. I think you're leading me in there, Nick. You know, and we're stating the obvious. It's just the amount of chances. The amount of chances that we're creating and not being clinical, you know, because we spoke about it last week. The longer the game goes at 1-0, the more anxiety creeps into your game late on. You know, simple things from 75 minutes onwards become difficult because there's tension in the body through fear of making a mistake that might lead to you losing, the 3 points. So then it starts to get a bit scrappy. But you know, you put the second goal in when I know how good we are with clean sheets. You know, we've always found 3, 4, 5, 6. But you need to get that second one, Nick. And you know, I don't need to tell the strikers tonight. I don't need to tell them in them final moments just how poor it is, because it's disappointing. But I know my strikers have been more disappointed than anyone. You know, we did a lot of work this week on certain movements, and the movement was brilliant early on. Jordan Davis to step past this man. Jamie has got into a great pocket, little flick. And it didn't go in, and then that pattern followed for the game. You know, 3 or 4 great chances, and the pleasing thing for me most of all is the amount of chances and Jamie Insel with his movements is creating. You know, when on another night you'd probably have had a hat trick last week. You know, but you're getting in there. I'd be disappointed if he wasn't getting in there and missing them. If we weren't missing things, it's more of a worry. Because they're terrific chances, and then fair play to Aber for throwing their bodies on the line. It's an incredible spirit there, you know, which reflects really Corb's, the manager, as a player. You know, they're all running relentlessly and they're working incredibly hard. And the one he cleared off a line from the overhead kick, you know, I could see Jamie at that point thinking, I'm going to go home now, that's enough, because it's an incredible bit of athleticism and the lads just threw himself and got a header on it, and it's incredible, you know. And but you know, well, listen, we're delighted with a clean sheet. I'm really delighted with a clean sheet again. That's 3 clean sheets on the spin, and it carries on from last season and how difficult we were to beat in Europe. But you know, I've got good players in my team. I've got good quality, and we just have to show a little bit more at them final moments, a little bit more quality, and we'll be fine.
You talk about the clean sheet there, and it was no more important than Ollie Byrne with a 91st minute save down low to his left.
And that's what happens, Nick. That's what happens. That's football in a nutshell. You have chance after chance after chance. You're 1-0 up, and I guarantee you, no matter who you're playing against, there will be half a chance at the end. Because what's happened is they've put literally a front 5 up and look to pick up second balls, and then anything that drops her in around the box, your honesty is to get back and defend it. But what you must do is, when George heads the ball and knocks the ball down into midfield, you get your first pass right from there. You've now got a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1. But too many times we don't get the first pass right. We don't get the appreciation of the weight. And that's when you punish a team, because they're being reckless, they're overexposing themselves, and you know, the counter to that is you punish them. And the longer the game goes on, and it is a chance, you know. And listen, I'll give Ollie credit. It's a save. I'd expect him to make it, but you know, it's a clean sheet, and that's probably. I think they started off and had a couple of chances in the first 10 minutes, and then that chance at the end. In between that, we've had 15 chances, and we haven't taken one to kill the game. So lots to be pleased about, lots to be positive about, because when you're creating that many opportunities, you know the front men will click, and obviously Byron's. Clearance has come through, Harrison's has come through, so again now we've got more options to cause different kind of problems. But I thought some of our play today was excellent. I thought some of our movements to open up until that final moment, and that's when the quality comes in. We find that in Europe against European teams, that they'll open you up and create opportunity, but that final moment is when you find the quality. And you know, I thought we were excellent till the final moment tonight, but a lot to be pleased about. And you know, back to working hard on finishing this week in training.
Were we a little bit lucky that we weren't looking at a really bad injury towards the last 10 minutes of the game there as well, when Chris Owens got absolutely scythed down? And
yeah, I know. I can hear your frustration, Nick, with it. There's 3 yellow cards, I think, in the game, or maybe 4, and that was one of them. And there's yellow cards that are simple to give, and then that one may be a bit more difficult. But for me, a player has to know the consequences of leaving the ground when a player step past and the ball's not there. Now, if you go to a player and you take a player out and the ball's not there, and it's high, and it's reckless, and it's out of control, I'm afraid it's a red card. It is a red card. I don't want to see red cards. If the ball was there and he went for the ball and caught the player, it's different. It's a yellow. But the intent was to hit the player. So, yes, again, it's a Connah's Quay. A Connah's Quay player that's not been protected. And it happens far, far too often. Because we don't hound the referee, we don't surround him, we don't go after him, and make it impossible for him not to give a red card. But no, I find it disappointing, and I can't send it in with the new rules now. It's easier for me to walk to Land's End now in my bare feet, Nick. It's easier to get a response now than it is to actually send it in, because you're not allowed to send that tackle in. And it's tackle last year at the end of last season where we didn't get a foul, and Aaron Edwards, it could have been a leg break, and then that one there tonight, and I'm not allowed to send that in now and ask the question of why it's not a red. But I've looked back at it, and I'll be honest, it's an orange and a half. Okay. It's an orange and a half, because it's definitely not a yellow, and it's an easy red to give. But you would probably say, that's football, that's modern day football. You can't do that. I like challenges, I like robustness, I like aggression on the football pitch, but I'm afraid in the modern game you can't leave the ground and hit a player at knee height and not expect to get a red card.